We have a fairly large live oak, Quercus agrifolia, located in Saratoga. It is a one-sided tree. The trunk diameter is about 32 inches DBH at 4 feet. There are some significant problems with this tree that I'd like to talk about. My first observation is there's a fairly recent failure of a limb up here. And the failure was associated with the fact that the whole limb had died. That particular limb was cabled, and I can see a cable hanging up in the tree, and I found the other end of the cable on this branch that's on the ground. And you can see some hypoxylon, which is evident that it's been dead for quite a while. The bark is peeling off, there's borers, there's all kinds of problems in this piece of deadwood. I'm kind of surprised that they allowed this piece of deadwood to stay on there as long as they did. But it's a very much one-sided tree with a fairly significant target area. And this target area is in a complex that has a lot of difficulty in finding places to park, so at night these parking spots are all taken. So it's always being used. Now when I look at the base of the tree, this is what really has me alarmed. There's a lot of dying back of the bark tissue, which leads me to believe that there is some form of a trunk canker or something happened to this tree. Sometimes fire will cause that kind of damage. It's really hard to tell after the fact, but something happened to this tree, either a trunk canker or some sort of an incident. But if you look in close here, you can see that there's a lot of white rot developing in the root system, and down there it's very much infected with fungus. I think if I ran a probe down in there, it would go in rather deep. This area over here is also compromised, and there's a lot of drying out up and through here. There's some cracking in the wood. That doesn't necessarily affect the strength of the trunk, except for the fact that now these fungal organisms are getting inside there, insects are getting inside there, and you'll start developing a lot of little fractures in the wood, which will reach a point where it goes from being strong to very weak quickly, in a matter of just a few short years. So it's probably at a point where removal should be considered. And when I look down here, it's rather deep. I can see all the way through. I can see light through on the other side. So the base of the tree is likely to be fairly hollow. I know there's a lot of decay in here. There's some decay organisms up in through here. You can see some active tissue trying to keep the tree alive, so it's been a long-term battle. Now the foliage of the tree doesn't look too bad. It's got an adequate amount of foliage up there, but I think structurally we have too much to worry about. And because of that, I believe that we have no other option but to recommend removal. There's also some decay in the major crotch. There are still two existing cables up in the tree, one holding this limb out here and one holding this back limb over here, possibly another one which I can't see. And you can see the third one, which is just dangling there. So I think we have a problem.